Shive.
Here.
Buckingham.
Here.
Now rise for the pledge of allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes.
Moved by Commissioner Kaminsky that the minutes from the council meeting held May 21st, 2025 be approved and placed on file and dispense with the reading of the minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
Any discussion? Clerk will read the roll.
Commissioner Kaminsky.
Aye.
Small. Aye. Shive.
No.
Buckingham.
Aye.
Mayor Hollenbeck.
Aye. Anyone wishing to appear before the council? Denise, I think you were the earliest one here, so go ahead and say.
Yeah, I'll go
what-
first. Okay, so I provided each of you a copy of some questions that I have. I know I only have 5 minutes and I gave you about 1,000,000 words, so I'm gonna start with the one that I'm finding the most important right now. If you guys could turn to number 7 for me. So I'm just gonna read that so everybody else can hear it. The building at 200 Riverfront was purchased in 2023. It seems to me that nobody properly filed tax exempt status. Therefore, on July 8th, 2024, the city of Marseilles cut a check to LaSalle County in the amount of $78,863.26 to pay for taxes on that building. A tax-supported body should not be paying taxes, as this is counterproductive. Is the tax exempt status properly filed? Why was a check cut from our city and therefore the taxpayer's pocket to cover this property tax last year? $80,000 would fix a lot of sidewalks. Sure, a majority of that goes back to the city in way of TIF funding. However, those funds cannot be used in any area other than said TIF district, while taking those funds from the entire city. Should we expect to pay the $80.88 in the coming month or months, or are we now properly labeled as tax exempt on that property? Which commissioners agreed to the payment on those taxes for this property, and were commissioners made aware that they were paying taxes for that property? Also, I was informed that tax bills hit mailboxes today and that the city is still on the hook for paying taxes in the amount of $80,080.88 for this year. Whom is supposed to ensure the taxes on status has been provided for the city properly? And then number 8 kind of feeds off of that one, which is that I'm going to come back at a different time to discuss what happens to residents and how they will cover the almost $100,000 a year from the 200 Riverfront property, because that money has to come from somewhere. How many households or tax-paying entities are in Marseilles? I know that it won't be an equal division, like if there's 50,000 households or tax-paying bodies, that it's not going to be $2,000 more a year per each taxpayer body, because it's based off assessments. But how many households or tax-paying entities can afford that, number 1? Also, why was someone that loses money for the school sitting on the school board allowed to vote on that property? Mr. Kaminsky, you literally voted on the school to lose money by tax payways, and that is a massive conflict of interest.
Understand.
I'll just leave that there. In closing, I do want answers to all of the above. Mr. Hollenbeck said that he would get those for me. A couple of the other issues that I'm seeing very quickly are making sure that the TIF district funds that are coming in and out are earmarked, both incoming and outgoing, so we can see that it is going to the TIF district they are made for, and that they're, like, where they're earmarked within the city budget. Because I've been going through the city budgets and I can't tell one thing from another, to be honest with you. So I can't backtrack any funding, which to me seems weird, because as a taxpayer, I'd like to know where my money's going. I'd also like to see where the committee funds are coming from. So if committee funds are coming in, they need to be earmarked too, so that we're not utilizing those for city funds. Because if those are donations, you can't take donations and use them for the streets fund, for the water, for the police. Those are funded for that certain thing, and I'm hoping that they're getting earmarked as such, because I'm not seeing that. So I'd like to be able to backtrack all of those funds and see what's coming in and what's going out.
Absolutely.
okay?
Okay, Counselor, do you want
Thank
to
you.
address this tax issue? We kind of anticipated
Oh.
that.
Real quick, sorry. If you guys look at the back 2 pages, I am showing that the riverfront property is still under pending status, so they are pending, they are expecting that payment, that $80,080.88. And if you look at this property, it shows exempt. So if if 200 Riverfront was properly labeled and listed as exempt, it would show exempt down in that bottom corner. It doesn't, it's showing pending. And I also gave you guys proof of the payment that was made of $78,863.26 on 7/8 by the city of Marseilles. So I just wanted to give you all that proof.
You want to answer now, Counselor, or you want to have time to put the answers together for it?
Well, I mean, I can make this comment, I'm not specifically familiar with this situation. The Catlin firm wasn't representing the city at the time of this acquisition, so,
Can I ask who you were representing?
Who's in charge?
who I was.
Yeah.
No, Burton was still,
The city attorney at that time was Richard
and
Burton. Wasn't us.
he should have filed that tax exempt status.
But who was the attorney firm for the seller of 200 Riverfront?
I understand it was Catlin's.
Thank you.
That's what I was getting
But you're correct, that governmental property is exempt from taxation, but you have to file an application for that exemption with the county.
Shouldn't the Commissioner of Accounts and Finance do that?
Well, I don't know.
Whose job?
Normally it's,
Whose job?
I guess I'm asking whose job is that
So
and
when we're
why?
closing, you tell me we didn't file the exempt stuff?
Well, the city attorney.
It's only 80 grand.
exemption after you
No,
acquire
it's 2
property
years
is
worth.
to be used for a public purpose.
Right,
If you don't file an exemption application,
yeah.
they will assess it and tax it.
And the way I'm reading it is that that's still not on exempt. I did contact the tax
We'll
assessor.
get straightened out.
When?
But the problem is we've already paid $80,000 to a TIF district from the whole city's
And
fund.
they will give it back once it gets straightened out.
Okay. Can you let us know when that
So you get a
happens?
refund?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay,
Not a problem.
And anybody else? Pete?
Peter Hall, and I want to thank the mayor of Marseilles and the city for our concerts we have on Friday night. Last Friday night, we had 87 people that showed up, and that was all the night because it rained a little bit. This weekend, we're going to have Radium City Rebels out of Ottawa. I've been notified that we're the only ones in LaSalle County, in the eastern part of LaSalle County, that has,
I'm sorry, can we just stop for a second? Because what you're saying is being presented to us as a group in the room, and I feel like it's probably worth us paying attention instead of whispering.
pardon me?
Oh,
Whispering.
yeah, I'm sorry, there are people having a side conversation.
Yeah.
Pete, I'd like to apologize for that.
I think it's
And
very
please,
rude.
Please continue.
Okay, but my concern is here and again, nonprofit. We do the Friday nights, okay? But what it comes down to is, we're the only ones supporting LaSalle County musicians, which is a lot. There's a lot of great musicians that don't have the opportunity. A lot of them play in bars, a lot of them don't play in bars. Like playing in bars. We had Tom Gaffney from Norway. He doesn't like playing in bars. It's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity for Marseilles for have the music. Thank you. I gotta go play with Sal.
Ma'am, you had your hand up?
Yes.
We know Pete, so when you get up here, could you please state your name?
Sure. I want to tell you this is out, and I apologize if I come one short. My name is Maria Davis, and I'm relatively new to Marseilles, living here so far. On Saturday, May 17th, I had my dog tied up on my front porch, and he was attacked by a pit bull and a Rottweiler that were running loose. It was the most horrific thing I've ever seen in my life. They had him pinned on the ground. What I've attached or passing around is the police report along with the vet bills. It was $908 and change. Thank God he was okay. The Officer Valdez, well, first of all, 2 of my neighbors heard me screaming for help. Crazy way to meet your neighbors, but I have wonderful neighbors. One man threw bricks at the dogs, and that's how they finally ran away. Another neighbor called the police. Officer Valdez came. He was wonderful. I was so shook up I couldn't even talk. He got on his phone, found me a vet, which they were almost all closed at this time. It was almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon. My main concern is he stated, and I think it's in the report, that the 2 owners of these dogs have been cited numerous times. They have 2 Rottweilers and a pit bull. They have no fenced yard. I also spoke with Commander Buckingham, I believe a week ago last Friday. He was kind enough to follow up with me, and between him and Officer Valdez, each time these people have been cited, it's been a $300 ticket. That day they were cited twice, 2 $300 tickets, and Commander Buckingham told me that, usually when you hit people in the wallet for things like this, they fix it. This has been going on. I followed Facebook posts back to August of 2023. So this has been going on for nearly 3 years, and these people have been cited umpteen times and do nothing. My dog was almost killed. That's bad enough, but my biggest fear is a child. When dogs are 2 or more, the pack mentality kicks in and their behavior completely changes. I know pit bulls have a horrible reputation. I don't personally believe that because I've known some that are very nice. But pit bulls and Rottweilers are known to be have the capacity to be very vicious if given the right circumstances, and clearly this was it. Now these people are Captain Buckingham said, now we're going to inconvenience them. They're going to have to go to court every time this happens. So the court date, I believe, is on July the 8th. And he advised me, or the police department advised me to go as well to tell my side of the story. I'm not sure from the city level what can be done, but every time I see a child walking down the street or somebody walking their dog since then, I want to run out my front door and tell them, get in the house with your dog, because it scares me to death. It was just a horrible, I don't know if anybody's ever seen a dog fight, but it was a horrible, powerless feeling, and I fear for anybody else that may have to deal with this. So again,
And we certainly thank you. And Melissa, do you have anything to add?
I'll let
We've been
Chief.
in contact with animal
Oh,
control.
hello. I didn't know you were there.
Yes.
Yes.
You've talked to them also, right?
Yes,
So,
I have.
As far as us taking someone's dogs, we can't do it.
Right.
It's animal control has to do it. So we write tickets, that's what we did, that's all we can do at this point.
Have we had any actual confirmed people bites, Todd?
Not from them dogs, I don't believe.
No.
There's 2 posts on Facebook, and I hate the word attack, because Officer Valdez told me, because I saw the one, somebody said their child was attacked. He said, I saw the child, it was literally a scratch. There's another post where a gentleman says I think he said his 2 nieces were playing in his backyard and they were attacked by these dogs. Again, I don't know the word attack,
By the same dogs?
Yes.
So-
Or was that called in?
I don't know. Like I said, I read it on a Facebook post. I don't know.
Okay.
These were people responding because I immediately posted because I wanted people to know these dogs were out running loose. And the gal was like, oh yeah, they're mine. And I said, you owe me $908 and I will take her to small claims.
Well, are these coming here to the adjudication or the house?
Sit here.
They paid their fines on the recent ones, or?
Yes, he said, I was told they have paid.
They
Yeah,
have
I
to,
don't-
and after
I don't-
this, the guys were told to start writing state tickets.
Yeah, 'cause I was gonna say, because the state's attorney's office could give restitution. I don't know that our adjudication officer can do that. No. So, yeah. state-
Yeah, they did tell me it's a civil
And
issue.
and
I'll
I,
have to
and I
take-
know that, what is it, the second bite, I think the law says they can put them down. They can, animal control control can take it now.
But I think that's only if they buy a person, isn't it?
Yeah, but yeah, we don't wanna, oh,
Right.
hopefully, we don't wanna
And
get
I
that
don't
far.
want it to, exactly, that's my fear,
Well,
so.
better yet, if it comes after a person, can you take it down?
Yeah, it's.
No. if the
Oh,
dog comes
trust me,
after
if I would've had the
dog
means,
comes
I
after
would've
me,
done
I
it.
have the right to take it down.
Well, if it's attacking you, you can't get it, you got concealed carry or something, you know, you gotta defend
So if
yourself.
I got a baseball bat, can I kill it in my yard?
Well.
Bucky is on it.
Violent.
He's ready.
Right, you can, okay, with all kidding aside, hit baseball bat, shoot them. Do we have any orders in place? If they have a dog, you have to have them fenced in or a dog.
Yes, we do.
Leash laws.
Leash
Well,
law.
leash laws, but.
6 feet from the sidewalk.
Years
So
ago,
how do we enforce
with
that then?
certain dogs, they tried to do that, and they said you can't discriminate against the dog, so.
And I was told that these people are in a rental, there is no fenced yard. The officer said we can request from the landlord that they put up a fence, but they're not required to.
Well, I told the landlord's liable.
I don't know.
I
I
have
would
reached
go ahead.
out, I have reached out to the landlord personally, as I know who it is, and had a conversation with her regarding the situation. So as far as proceeding forward with that, I have not gotten an answer about that, but I did reach out to her after this whole scenario came to me and said that moving forward, this is something that you are probably gonna wanna look into so you avoid any sort of liability
Okay,
if anything
good.
like this happens again.
Okay.
So as soon as I do hear something back from her regarding that, whether she is moving forward with it or is not, I will let you know.
Okay.
But as of now, that is that. And it is unfortunate that dealing with animal control, it is very extenuating circumstances where they will get involved and remove an animal from possessions. And it is unfortunate for the community that it is so hard to legally go these routes to get things done, but unfortunately, that is the process, and it is frustrating, and I'm very sorry you had to deal with that, because I
Thank you.
understand how important for babies.
And small claims is a good route
Yeah,
to go for.
yeah, I will go that
Yes.
route,
So I will follow up with you.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome,
Thank
Maria.
you.
Thank you.
Cheryl?
Cheryl O'Brien. Mayor, first I want to thank you for allowing me to ask the questions at the last council meeting. I didn't realize the format was just a statement. Overlooking the minutes, at the last council meeting, I noticed, or you were discussing applying for a $1 million grant to be paid back over a 30-year period of time at 1% to replace the CDAP loan program in the city of Marseilles, and I don't see that reflected in the minutes.
We passed that resolution. Did we skip it? Anyway, did you get my
It's on
information?
page 2 on the bottom, right there.
Okay, that's what I was gonna ask, but we can't ask questions, so I was assuming that might have been what it
Because
was.
I did all that tip research and mailed it to you. If you didn't,
I didn't get that yet.
blame the post office, 'cause
I
I
will
mailed
do
it
that.
like Friday.
I'll
or
talk to the
Saturday.
mailman at home. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Yep.
I just want to, on behalf of the beautification committee, invite each and every one of you to next Wednesday's meeting, right here, 6 p.m.
Are you wearing a Cardinals shirt?
Don't worry about what I'm doing, Bob.
I just wanna be sure.
That's all I got.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Okay, seeing nobody else,
And
we'll
when is
move
that?
on to,
Next Wednesday.
there it is. Bi-monthly expense report.
Moved by Commissioner Kaminsky, the accounts payable for the last half of May in the amount of $310,470.59 be approved, and a warrant be drawn on the city treasury for the several months.
Any discussion?
Well, is there a second?
Yes, please, second.
I'll second that.
Okay, any discussion?
Yes, where are we at with the total cost of Broadway Park, please?
This one is 209. We've got about $1.40 left.
But like the total amount that we've spent on
With
Broadway
the-
Park, total. I mean, including grants and everything, what was our?
With the handicap,
Well, that's kind of where I'm going with it, is that we have spent, like, let's say it's $1.2 million, I realize that
flock
1.21
cameras.
I realize that 1.21, well, where are we at?
I can't pull that number off the top of my head, but I can get you a number by
Okay.
walking back, because we
Okay.
got the flock cameras running there. The additional concrete, we got some benches we're putting in for, Nancy, right? Yeah, so I mean, that's, all that cost will, I believe that's a good number.
And I don't know that we got a final cost on handicap swing, cause that's gonna be a lot more expensive than anticipated, but it is what it is.
$20,000 install the swing.
Okay, and I would like to really take a big issue with that. 1.2 million is fine, but not 1.22 to comply with the ADA?
The park complies with the ADA.
Have you ever
We would
tried
not
to-
have gotten
have you
the grant
tried-
Without the ADA.
With all due respect.
This was added afterwards.
Have you tried to take a wheelchair to the swing as it is? Those chips are not
Go to 10th Street.
navigable.
All right.
Okay,
We're
thank
gonna
you, but
move
that's
on
not what's going
because
on with that.
We couldn't have got the
We're
grant.
taking care of it. Be patient with us.
The park was built ADA accessible, or we could not have received the grant. The
I-
fact that it wasn't built ADA accessible to everybody's belief.
It's just a wheelchair.
Right, it's just a wheelchair, and there are two great pickleball courts, but someone with a wheelchair can't go to the swing, and I'm very sorry that that's viewed as an imposition.
It's not an imposition, and we're fixing it.
Commissioner, the swing wasn't part of the original grant. It was added later. And we're trying to comply with it and make it wonderful.
Thank you.
And
We will do
Are
that.
you getting paid for?
No, thank you.
Okay. Clerk will read the
Wait,
roll.
wait, I'll go through the
Oh,
numbers.
something-
Yes, right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go
All right,
ahead.
so B&G Electric, $5,065. Ventag Mid-South, this is chemicals for the water plant, $6,059. Conley and Excavating, this is Broadway Park. Final design, but this is the design for the park, got one more payment, like I said. We're at $209,905.67. B&D Sign installation for 200 Riverfront Drive, $7,800. Blue Cross Blue Shield for the city workers, $25,821. Hopkins and Associates, our CPAs, they do our 2025 financial audit, which are awesome, $10,000. Illinois Public Risk Fund, this is our workman's comp, $6,500. So that the total accounts payable was $310,470.59. So,
Clerk will read the roll.
Commissioner Kaminsky,
aye.
Small, Shive,
No.
Buckingham,
Aye.
Mayor Hollenbeck.
Aye. Bi-weekly salary payroll.
Moved by Commissioner Kaminsky that the payroll for the last half of May in the amount of $89,098.26 be approved and a warrant be drawn on the city treasurer for the several months.
Do I have a second?
I'll second
Any discussion?
that. City workers are working, 5 kids.
And what?
And then the pool's open with the hot dogs, ran out of hot dogs already, so staying busy.
And I haven't even been there yet. Okay, clerk will read the roll.
Commissioner Kaminsky.
Aye.
Small, Shive,
Aye.
Buckingham,
Aye.
Mayor Hollenbeck.
Aye. Number 3.
Moved by Commissioner Kaminsky that the operating budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 be placed on file.
Do I have a second? Any discussion?
All right, so this is, we put the operating budget on file, and then in 2 weeks we approve it. Only question I have going forward is, Mike, are you okay with the numbers that you, I got an email on June 2nd on, that my guy should put together? Because I didn't get a response back from you on your street.
Well, no, as you're very well aware, I do not care for how the city allocates its resources.
So are you okay with what we suggested? I just want to be sure. If not, we can change it. We got 2 weeks in case you want to up something. I know you said something about $2,500 for a speed bump.
Yes, 2405 for temporary speed bumps and asphalt installation kits. It's another example of something that I really wish was there, given that the park is on kids across the street. But yes, thank you very much.
All right. Mike, anything to talk about street department? We good?
No.
Okay.
Actually, I
Paul here?
just did want to bring something up, and I wanted to talk to Mike about this in excess before the budget does get passed. Thinking along the lines of the speed bumps, I think it might be beneficial to have one on both sides. That way, there's no room for anybody to accelerate in between the area of the park or before the park. If that's just food for thought.
No, the temporary ones, my understanding is it's curb to curb at the end of the parking lot on both sides.
Okay,
So
so
yes.
it'll be covered on both sides then.
Yeah, my understanding was, I thought we were gonna put these in the beginning, I thought we also.
I'm fairly certain this conversation was had,
Huh?
I'm very certain this conversation was had previously,
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah. That's all
not
we're
sure.
gonna pull them down.
But yes, I wholeheartedly support it, and if we need to do two, just to mitigate people from actually accelerating once they get past the first one, to keep them slowed down, I think that would be very good.
It's also worth noting that a permanent speed bump, because we don't really allocate local resources in addition to MFT, in the hundreds of thousands. would require IDOT approval, so it'd be a lengthier process.
I think that has been brought up, for years. I think it just came down to city workers and the plowing.
Yeah.
The plowing was the issue with that, so,
I don't think the speed bumps last too long.
No.
The snowplow hits and
no,
they're
I
gone.
think that was the issue with that, but I am on board with the, what you talked about, so.
Yeah, no kidding.
Better get thrown off, take your.
Okay, let's get back on the
So
budget.
feel free to, this will be on file for 2 weeks and it'll be approved at our next council meeting, so.
Clerk, we got a second, clerk will read the roll.
Commissioner Kaminsky.
Aye.
Small.
Aye.
Shive.
No?
Buckingham.
Aye.
Mayor Hollenbeck.
Aye. Anything else?
I miss Sam's dollar pizza day.
He had a nice crowd.
I really want to go. I want to buy $50 worth of pizza. But yeah, I'm really happy for Joe.
Actually, I
the
think
whole
they ended
family.
up going longer than anticipated because people were still lined up.
I know I had to go to Bolingbrook. It's horrible Sunday. I just didn't want to go.
Good. Commissioner Small.
Yes, so my first issue I was gonna address that we just kind of touched on follow-up, but that was the safety down at Broadway Park. With the temporary speed bumps, which I feel are very important to put on there. I also, after speaking with a few people that have reached out to me about different issues over this time span here, have talked with Chief Gordon and Captain Buckingham about getting a flashing stop sign down at Broadway Park as well. So we are pricing those out, and that is something. Cost is not gonna be an issue. We don't have an issue paying with whatever we need to, within reason, obviously, for the safety down there. I know a crosswalk will be getting painted here in the near future as well, and I do appreciate those noticing that the police have had a very heavy presence down there, as well as on Commercial, now that we have the kickoff of the pool and a lot of games going down. There's just a lot of traffic and a lot of kids walking. So, of course, if anybody sees anything that we are missing, please reach out to me and let me know. But we are addressing these very seriously to get them taken care of. And I haven't heard anything negative about kids being crazy down there, so that's a very positive thing. But that's that with that, and to kind of segue into the schools now being opened again with that. There's heavy sports going on. We're starting sand volleyball as well. There's a lot of activities down at the Lions Club. We're just asking people to please reduce their speed, be mindful of people crossing. And also now that we have River's Edge open, there's been a lot of foot traffic of people crossing. So please slow down, not accelerating when you're going down Commercial. So we just are trying to keep our residents safe. I did have a resident reach out to me specifically about 2 properties on Union Street. I do not believe she's here tonight. I do not see her. I just wanted to address again, and I know I don't want to sound like broken record when I'm at these meetings about situations. I know it's frustrating when we have houses. I know Denise and I have dealt very hand in hand with some situations. The process is a very stressful one. It is a very protracted legal process. It is a lengthy process. When we cite these people for these ordinance violations, not only does it go through our city steps and going through that, then I have a couple properties who we also go through the court system with. If anybody's dealt with that, it is very homeowner / renter judicial system. Their rights are very protected. So it is very hard for us as a government entity to demand that they do these things that are frustrating for other residents to witness or view or look at. And I 100% get that. But I appreciate people reaching out and letting me know, because Officer Kirsch does, as many people like to comment about, take it very seriously and write people citations. It's not him trying to be mean or upset anybody. And we are very willing to work with people, like I said at the last meeting, when people have issues or something going on. If you're making an active effort to fix the situation, we will work with you as much as we can. So that's that. Also, happy birthday to Dylan Trentanero, and again, thank him for the dog park. But please, I would like to encourage our residents, if you are utilizing it, to please clean up after your pets and yourself. It is a very nice addition to have in the city. A lot of people have used it. It is something that's really great to have. I would like to see it kept nice, and I know a lot of residents would, and so would the people that put in the long hours and hard work as well. And again, please do not blow your weeds, grass, all of that into the street. It's not safe for our motorcycle drivers, and it also plugs our drains for the city workers. I do go when I'm walking and clean those off, so we just ask people to please be mindful of that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Number 2.
Moved by Commissioner Small, it's a special event permit application for Illinois Motorcycle Freedom Run to be held December 21st, 2025, be approved, and the permit will be waived.
Do I have a second? Any discussion?
This is for the Freedom Run event that we're doing, that we've done for many years, so we just really are thankful for everyone's support with that and are looking forward to the event as well. Thank you.
Clerk, read the roll.
Commissioner Kaminsky.
Aye.
Small. Aye. Scheib.
Aye.
Buckingham.
Aye.
Mayor Hollenbeck.
Aye. Commissioner Shy.
I have 3 questions. The first is for Commissioner Kaminsky and Attorney Lee. I'd like to ask you if you consider this to be a false statement. A sitting commissioner serving on 2 boards deemed incompatible by the Illinois Attorney General in 1985 cast a tie-breaking vote on the purchase of 200 Riverfront despite it being in a TIF district and costing the Marseilles Elementary District approximately $31,000 in revenue per year. Would that be a false statement?
I have no idea.
Okay, just wanted to.
I'm not familiar with the fact that you're reciting.
Thank you. Well, you're not familiar with Commissioner Kaminsky serving on 2 boards that was deemed incompatible in 1985 by the Illinois Attorney General. And that 200 Riverfront was in a TIF district.
The facts about 30-something.
Well, just that was the amount of money that was going to the Marseilles Elementary District per year on that property. And then by buying it, it's going to be taken off the tax rolls because that's something that we do. And the purpose of a TIF district, let me just tell you why it's an issue for me. One is, I got my property tax bill today, so it's kind of like, hey, look at that. So nobody runs through the mailman today for whatever reason. He's not the most popular guy in Marseilles. However, if you look at the biggest line item, it's education in the state of Illinois. And I am not just a city commissioner, I'm also a Marseilles Elementary District taxpayer. And when I see that the Marseilles Elementary District will be losing that money because we'll be taking it off the rolls, it seems to me, and this is kind of piggybacking off of what former Commissioner O'Brien said at the last meeting, it seems to me that the purpose of a TIF district is to ultimately increase the taxable value of property within that TIF district, such that those districts that lose money ultimately get it back, maybe 30, 40, 50 years down the line from increased revenue. The opposite of that happened with 200 Riverfront. They will be getting 0. All right, so my second question, though, is to everybody. Do you acknowledge the difference between someone posting on Facebook as a private citizen and someone posting as the city of Marseilles, Illinois? Because I was spoken negatively about on the City of Marseilles, Illinois page, and when I asked to have the right of response, I was prohibited, and I provided the text of that, and I verified that today. So that did happen. I was mentioned by name, and I find that highly inappropriate. Lastly, are you all aware of the threats to my job by Mayor Hollenbeck, both in person and online, the online that I shared with the law firm? And have you heard of any other commissioners in the past who've had their jobs being threatened or otherwise intimidated? I'm not going to ask for an answer to that. However, let me just tell you that personal intimidation and threats of litigation are an unacceptable way to run a municipal government, and anyone should shudder at the First Amendment implications of how this city is acting. All right, let's talk, if we can, about the money I'm now hoping to do. Oh, by the way, I challenge you all to weed. Let's do some weeding afterwards. We'll take the nice shirt off. We'll do some weeds on Main Street. Give beautification hand. 30 minutes, 45 if you're dressed as nicely as I am. But anyway, just frankly, the way the city's operated has been wholly unacceptable. And I think announcing a lawsuit against me in a meeting and then not wanting to talk about it in a meeting or through email, wholly unacceptable. But anyway, let's, I would now ask for the approving the final payment to Universal Asphalt here.
Moved by Commissioner Shive, the final payment to Universal Asphalt and Excavating in the amount of $43,392.75 for various streets be approved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Clerk will read the roll.
Commissioner Kaminsky.
Aye.
Small. Aye. Shive.
Aye.
Buckingham.
Aye.
Mayor Hollenbeck.
Aye. Number 3.
Moved by Commissioner Shive, the final pay to Universal Asphalt and Excavating in the amount of $35,864.93 for Ryle and Second Street be approved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion on that? Clerk will read the roll.
Commissioner Kaminsky.
Aye.
Small. Aye. Shive.
Aye.
Buckingham.
Aye.
Mayor Hollenbeck.
Aye. Anything else?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Buckingham.
Yeah, I got a few things tonight. I just got a copy of the purchase agreement from us the other day for that building down there. I got looking through it. And I called Keith the other day, correct me if I'm wrong. I wanna read line item here. Line item number 8. Any personal property remaining in the sale of the property on or after January 1st, 2025, at the election of the purchaser, shall be deemed the public property of the purchaser with no compensation due to the seller. So with that being said, my question is, I think Bobby, I asked you after the last meeting, that you told me, does that property in the museum, city property, yes or no?
Well, if you read the last email labeled confidential from Attorney
The
Lee,
last email, Jim.
he says we shouldn't discuss this in public.
Oh.
Research this.
Oh my, no, point of order, did you say we were not allowed to speak about this?
Yeah, we should limit it.
Excuse me, Attorney Lee, please.
Ooh! Dang.
Just addressing Attorney Lee with a fair question.
Act professional.
Oh, please.
He
It's
is.
gotta be out of your mind. Attorney Lee may ask the question.
I've been at work for it, you know. I don't have access to a computer 24/7 at work. So I don't read emails all day at work, just to let people in there know. I read them in the morning at 3 o'clock when I get up. I read them at 4 o'clock in the afternoon when I go home.
I sent an email to the members of the council with this,
Today,
yes.
Several of them in the last 2 days.
well, I talked to you a couple days ago, Keith. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right. Anyhow, the issue of museum and personal property came up. As I indicated, I wasn't involved in that transaction. Christina is out of the country.
Right.
That's why I'm here tonight. I'm pinch hitting.
Lucky you.
But the research that I was able to do, and Commissioner Buckingham did ask me for a copy of the purchase agreement.
Right.
Which I handed him tonight. And what he read is an accurate reading of that. In addition to that, there's a bill of sale, but there's an issue about a museum, and I said, we have quite a few questions about that need to be addressed before we can give a final opinion as to personal property, museum versus non-museum. There was nothing in any document that I saw that referenced a museum. So what he read is correct. It's
And my question is,
But
my
that
rent
has
is
nothing
addressed
to
by
do.
now. We bought this in January.
Well, I'm
I'm
being exposed to this for the first
The
time.
bottom line is, and I think everybody here will agree, we don't want that stuff down there.
Why?
Why?
Oh my God, you've gotta be
The
joking.
city does not want ownership of it.
Oh,
We will turn it over.
that's not what I heard. That's not what I heard.
That's a lot
at all.
different, thank you.
You gotta remember the people that fought for this building so we could protect it.
How about the people who fought for the country?
Yeah.
I like handcuffs.
We can't be just shouting out. We have to run a professional meeting.
If I had a gavel.
So the bottom line is, we will figure out a way to make sure that everything down there is declared property of the museum. I'm not the lawyer, and he will figure out, or property of the Freedom Run. And so whether we do it by a memorandum of understanding, and I'm not telling you anything you haven't already written.
I'm just saying, there's 3 Purple Hearts down there that people love.
Nobody's denying that.
I mean, I would never
You
consider
gotta,
that
you gotta,
city
you gotta
property.
remember, the Illinois Valley Cellular
Yeah.
attorneys put that agreement together.
They've
And
been
apparently-
gone, they've been gone.
That would be- that would be
the only
Cat
one-
Or I
Wouldn't
mean,
it?
no, I'm sorry, Cell One.
Yeah,
Cell One put that together. But it will get ironed out.
cause I kept reading about MTCO, you know what I'm saying? MTCO's been out of the picture, the Illinois Valley Cellular filed in bankruptcy.
My personal opinion is I would
They're
like
out.
to turn the wall and the museum over to the Freedom Run. We'll let them take it. We'll let them run. We'll let them man the museum
Let's
during
do
holidays.
it. Take it. Like,
Well, that's not.
don't
the way
move
I
it.
put Jim. That's
Let's
not
do
the
it.
way this reads, is all I'm saying. That's all
Well,
I'm
that's why it's
asking.
gotta be fixed.
I think you gotta just understand the risk, right? So, right, 3
Well, at
Purple
the
Hearts.
last meeting, Bobby.
If somebody grabs a Purple Heart, are they gonna come back to the city and say, hey, my stuff was stolen? How do we justify it was stolen? How do we know what was there? We have no inventory of what's there. We don't know what's in there, besides what you did, and what Larry's wife and everybody else at IVC did for the last 20-something years, right? And that's my fear, something disappears, and then we get held to the counter, just like we're doing today.
Last week I was there, Bobby, I videotaped everything in there.
If it belongs
I
to
understand that, but
someone
that still doesn't
else,
stop
that
somebody
wouldn't
from
happen.
taking something.
Wouldn't that be an argument for turning it over to the Freedom Run?
Yes.
As opposed to maintaining
agree.
ownership of ourselves, but again.
You're preaching to the choir.
Right, and we put cameras in there
But
now.
Commissioner Buckingham did read correctly that the agreement said all contents.
Right, and there's cameras in there now, so.
You told me after the last meeting, when Christina talked to us back there, you told me, you want me to understand one thing. And you said that building was purchased and the contents. I said to you, you mean the table and chairs. You know, I said not the museum. You said to me, Bobby, I'm gonna say it again, Bucky, and I'm say it for the last time. The city bought this building and the contents.
Right.
Is what you told me.
I mean, I don't know what else they can do. I mean, for us to see it, it could be a risk factor, Bob.
This
It will get fixed.
the only thing I'll say after this one, guys, truthfully, this never was started at that donation box. Okay, the Dan Jackson and Jack Lindiger, the tribute committee were after him. This never was started. Never was started. It was okay for the poppies to be on sale down there Memorial Day weekends. How can you take the donation box out at the same time as accept poppies?
Okay,
How?
I'm gonna answer that.
Okay?
By your own email, you said that after the council meeting, you, Bobby, you and Christina talked, and she
Yes, we
said the
did.
donations had to come out.
Yes, they did. They
How
came
was I
out,
supposed to know?
you know.
Communication, Bucky, your favorite word.
Well, that's right, but, I
So
mean, I'm
yes,
sure.
did I err in allowing that down there? Yes, because I didn't know what Christina had said.
But the sad part about it, that's what I'm getting at, the sad part about this, I asked her about those blue boxes, I'm sure everybody's aware of them, North Hills Lions Club. I'll make it clear, the Lions Club does an excellent job for this town. All right, because the mistake that you made, we have to take out donation boxes now, because of something like that.
Well, she said all donation boxes had to come out.
It's
Now,
sad.
we can clarify when she gets back.
I hope to see the Lions Club boxes back.
Well, I would like to see the Legion put their
Oh.
stuff out too, but,
You know, I mean, well, once again, like I said, I mean, communication, I mean,
you know, when the attorney says that we have to do something,
you guys
we went
wonder-
through this before with stuff down there, and it's pointless to argue about it.
Can there be a city ordinance made to allow all donations of those kind, or you guys approve donation boxes for certain things on city property?
That might
Can
a
there be an
possibility.
ordinance made for that?
Might be a possibility.
Like put a, you know what I mean, put like
I don't know,
a
Counselor.
request in?
That's another legal question.
You're on the spot again, buddy.
We are winning, right?
Just half price or full price? Half price or full price?
No, but like, that could be a potential ordinance that the city could do.
If we can legally do
Yeah,
it.
I don't know that we're gonna come to that opinion, but.
I think, I mean, just, my frustration is that there should be one standard across the board.
I agree.
If we're allowing donation boxes,
agree.
then we shouldn't have taken it out. And if we aren't, then we shouldn't allow any of them.
I agree.
And I think that what we effectively did was we discriminated against the Freedom Run by taking their box out and leaving the poppies in.
And
And
the museum.
What's the purpose?
well, no, the Legion.
Oh,
Because what happened was somebody from the Freedom Run came, thought that was like hers, came out, and
Oh, okay.
a very unfortunate interaction took place between her and the mayor, in which the arrest was threatened, which has happened to me too. So I'm not really crazy about conversations like that, frankly. Anyway.
It's just so sad, 'cause I mean, like I said, I worked down there for 24 years. When that wall went down there, guys, it put the dot in the map for the city of Marseille.
That's all we've got.
It really did. I don't care what anybody says. But I mean, it's just been such an addition to all the bull crap that we have to go through to try to keep that thing here. It's sad. It really is. That's all I can say.
Okay, number two. Gotta pay bills.
Moved by Commissioner Buckingham that the payment to Conley Excavating in the amount of $209,905.67 for the Broadway Park final design be approved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second
that.
Any discussion? Clerk, read the roll.
Commissioner Kaminsky.
Aye.
Small. Aye. Shive.
No.
Buckingham.
Aye.
Mayor Hollenbeck.
Aye. Okay, number one for me.
Moved by Mayor Hollenbeck that the annual payment to CSX in the amount of $2,060 be approved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion?
Did you want to explain what that was for everybody?
Okay, if you remember back when Pacific Street got closed off, it took us about a year to get the railroad to work with us and get it back open, and as a part of that agreement, we needed to take over doing the maintenance all the way from First Street to Chicago Street. So we had to work with the people that have the gardens and that down there. The beautification committee stepped up. We met with the people that had gardens down there. Christine had made up a form for them to sign that if they didn't take care of it and it got weeded, we would mow it. And so now we can maintain it, keep it mowed for when the Freedom Run comes and we have our Fall Fest and that. We were able to get the canal or the waterway cleaned out there too, so.
By Pacific Street,
Yeah.
which is always a nightmare mess for
It's
Tom.
always a nightmare for Tom and weeds, so we're able to control that now, so. It's unfortunate that it come to that, but if we wanted to work it out, that's what we have to do. Clerk will read the roll.
Commissioner Kaminsky.
Aye.
Small. Aye. Shive.
Aye.
Buckingham.
No,
Mayor Hollenbeck.
Aye. Number two.
Moved by Mayor Hollenbeck that ordinance 1885, an ordinance denying the map amendment for vacant Young Street lot be adopted.
Okay, the next three are all recommendations from the Planning and Zoning Commission, how they want us to handle that. The biggest thing for the one on Young Street, and hopefully that'll get ironed out, is the property down there, which is just west of Big Jim's Collision Center. The gentleman that owns it, it gets divided into two partials because there's the old railroad track spur that goes through there. So, and the owner doesn't own that. So if the planning commission would have recommended that we allow the variance to go to business, to do his woodworking, would have part of it zone business, vacated tracks still zoned residential, and then the next plat on the other side of it zone business. So planning commission recommended they try to obtain ownership of all three parcels, or specifically the railroad parcel, and then that would probably be allowed. It's kind of confusing. We've only been dealing with this for about 6 months, maybe a year, I think. So clerk will read the roll.
Need a second for that.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Kaminsky.
Aye.
Small. Aye. Shive.
No.
Buckingham.
aye.
Mayor Hollenbeck.
Aye. Number 3 and 4 are planning commission recommendations to grant the variance. One was for upon 806 Stratton Avenue, a retaining wall replacement. And then silly as this may sound, second one is 371 Chicago Street. Years ago, back when Bucky was first born, Chicago Street was kind of the business district. You still have Shape Wrap and Roll there. Where my house was Raleigh Price's grocery store, but there was a lot of areas there that were business. For whatever reason, 371 was still business, and it's in a residential area, and it's an apartment building, so. As they said at the planning commission, it's kind of a no-brainer, that should have been done a long time ago, so. First, we'll take a vote on number 3. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Kaminsky?
Aye.
Small? Aye. Shive?
Aye.
Buckingham?
Aye.
Mayor Hollenbeck?
Aye.
Moved by Mayor Hollenbeck that ordinance 1887, an ordinance granting a map amendment for 371 Chicago Street be adopted.
Do I have a second on that one?
Yes.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, bring back downtown too.
Yeah. Clerk will read the roll.
Commissioner Kaminsky?
Aye.
Small? Aye. Shive?
Aye.
Buckingham?
Aye.
Mayor Hollenbeck?
Aye. Okay, we wade through city engineer, do you have anything?
Yes. Last week, the council or the city applied for 4 grants through the state of Illinois. There's $400 million available through the Department of Transportation for local projects, transportation related. First project we applied for was the replacement of the bridge on Sycamore Street, $2,160,000. Now, these grants are zero matching. We have to come up with any matching money unless we have to. This is for phase 1 design, phase 2 design, get ready for construction and construction. The second one is for bridges on Main, Washington, and River Road for the phase 1 design is $300,000. Both of those will be handled by Chamlin, putting it together if we get the grants. Third one is Commercial Street. It's a truck access route program for about $500,000. We've already gotten $48,000 in TARP money, truck access route program money. But what happened was when we go TARP money, you have to use the state requirements. And doing further investigations, the price went from about $260,000 to over $500,000. The local roads engineer who we've been working with on that suggested that we apply for this, along with the bridges. And the fourth one is for the Main Street Business District Revitalization Project, $3.2 million. As I said, I don't know if we're getting, don't know when they'll be awarded, but it's a $400 million grant program statewide through the Department of Transportation. All we can do is try and see how much money we can get for the city.
Excuse me,
I thought we applied for that last year and we were supposed to know in the spring if we got it or not.
It's a whole different program.
This is a different program. The one we applied for, we scored high, but not high enough, so we did not get that one. However, that ultimately could be a blessing in disguise, because the one we did not get, it was an 80-20. The city would, now, we have to have it in by the end of June again, and that's gonna be 100%.
Let's hope we get it.
So that could be, like I said, that could turn out to be a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
Also, we learned a lot by the one that got turned down, and talking with representatives of IDOT, of some of the things where we fell down in. We were able to work on correcting those, so.
That's another thing that the lease with the railroad is gonna benefit us for, because that was one of the things we lost points on, is it didn't say anywhere in there that the railroad was okay with this. Well, now we got this lease that says we're responsible for maintaining it. So, these are very competitive, so they're not real easy to get.
Can you give me those numbers again? Bridges, for Main, Washington, River, how much was that one?
Main, Washington, the river, that's $300,000. That's just for the design, the environmental studies and the design.
Okay. And then 500K for commercial, 3.2 mil for Main, and what was the other?
2.16 million for the Sycamore Street Bridge. That's design and the construction and the environmental. With the Main, Washington, River Road one, what we're hoping to do is to get the things ready to go to bid. So if money comes available someplace else, we're saying, we're ready to go. we don't have to go through this process. These grants have to be taken care of within about 2 years period of time, so it's not something we have to do it right now, but we wanna get going on it.
And along with the Sycamore Street Bridge, the 3 lots that we bought on Young Street, that goes toward that project. Because if we get this money, we're gonna straighten that road out, when you come over the tracks on Sycamore, you gotta jog right and then jog left again, keep going toward Ball Diamonds. That'll be straight.
Mr. Stock, please.
Could you expound on the, Main Street renewal, what you hope to achieve there and renew, and what's involved in that? It's new streetlights, new sidewalks, plantings, things like that.
All the buildings will be made handicap accessible. We have a lot of buildings down, I can't even see them. We got a lot of buildings downtown that aren't handicap accessible, so there'll be new sidewalks, curbs, gutters, storm sewers. Just basically,
Water main work.
yeah, water main work, just a hefty face, but try to get it look nice.
That's what, got a detailed estimate of cost here. Storm sewers.
Would that not include redoing the road?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was
Whew.
the first thing he said.
I'm like, that thing's a mess, like,
Yeah, yep.
I'm almost hitting people trying to get out of there every morning to get to work.
Okay, anything else? Mike, anything else?
No.
Okay, city attorney, anything?
That was a promotion.
Yeah. You wouldn't know what to do with all that money, would you? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Moved by Commissioner Small, the city council now adjourned.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Clerk will read the roll.
Commissioner Kaminsky.
Aye.
Small. Aye. Shives.
Aye.
Buckingham.
Aye.
Mayor Hollenbeck.
Aye.